State Statutory Research for the Intellectual Property Research course at Boston College Law School. Patent law is exclusively a federal issue, and so is most of copyright law. Trademark law can be federal or state, and trade secret law, until the enactment of the Defend Trade Secrets Act of 2016, was exclusively a state law issue. Researching the laws of a single state are very similar to researching federal statutes. State statutes are published the same way as federal statutes, first in slip law form, then chronologically as session laws, and then incorporated into a subject arrangement as a code. Codes can be official or unofficial, annotated or unannotated. One interesting difference between some state codes and the federal code is that some states assert a copyright in their codes, while federal publications are exempt from copyright. When dealing with the laws of one state, you'll usually want to start with a secondary source for that state or the index to that state's code. But when you're dealing with the laws of many states, especially when you need to deal with the laws of all 50 states, there are much more efficient ways to structure your research than to search each state individually. Not only may lawmakers from different states choose different language to regulate the same thing, there are variations in names and numbering systems of state statutes. For example, Massachusetts calls its session laws the Acts and Resolves, and its code is the General Laws. Both the Acts and Resolves and the General Laws use the chapter as the major subdivision. California, on the other hand, has a nominative code, identifying each major subdivision by name rather than by number. So instead of being divided into titles like the federal code or chapters like Massachusetts, there are 29 separate codes, and there are statutes involving trademarks in the California Business and Professions Code, the California Health and Safety Code, the California Labor Code, the California Corporations Code, and the California Government Code. One way that states sometimes work together to minimize conflicts between state laws is through uniform laws. Uniform laws are really model state statutes, which individual states are free to adopt in their entirety, in part, or not at all. States that have adopted the uniform laws, or parts of them, often look to interpretations of that statute from other states that have adopted that law, as a form of persuasive authority. The uniform law relevant to IP practice is the Uniform Trade Secrets Act. The publication that sets out uniform laws, which states have adopted them, and case notes interpreting the statute is a Thomson Reuters publication called Uniform Laws Annotated, which is available on Westlaw. You can find it at the bottom of the Tools and Resources link from the Statutes and Court Rules page, or just to start to type Uniform Laws Annotated in the search box and select it from the pull-down menu. From the Uniform Laws Annotated screen, you can search all the uniform laws or select the one you are interested in. The Uniform Acts appear online in the same order they appear in the bound volumes, so the Trade Secrets Act is near the bottom of the page under the heading Civil Procedure and Remedial Laws. Choosing the Trade Secrets Act takes us to the table of contents for this act, and while you can run a search from this screen, selecting ULA Trade Secret References and Annotations takes you to the editor's notes, which begins with a table of jurisdictions that have enacted this act, along with citations to where it can be found in the individual state codes. The sections of the Uniform Act have the same types of research references as any code on Westlaw, except that notes of decisions can be to cases in any state adopting the uniform law. Another way to get access to many state statutes at once is a 50-state survey. Westlaw has a collection of 50-state surveys in its secondary sources collection. Westlaw divides them into regulatory and statutory surveys, which are grouped by major practice areas, and Westlaw has them under the heading Intellectual Property. And we see there are just a few on trademarks and trade secrets. Let's look at the one on enforcing non-compete clauses under the Uniform Trade Secrets Act. Before we look at the PDF available at the top of this document that provides a state-by-state analysis, I want to scroll down to show this document provides links to the state statutes referenced by just citation and header. The PDF makes it easier to compare one state with another by summarizing the provisions in addition to providing citations to the specific statutory sections, but these citations do not link directly to the statutes themselves. Lexisnexis 50-state surveys can be accessed by beginning to type 50 state surveys and then selecting the link when it appears under sources. Again, since copyright and patent are almost exclusively federal law, the only 50-state survey on Lexis deals with trademark protection for trade and service marks. This survey discusses trademarks first, federal law first. Then it provides information in a state-by-state table that summarizes the content and links to the relevant statutory and regulatory sections. Bloomberg Law also had a treatise called Trade Secrets, a State-by-State Survey, but it can be a little hard to find. Start in the Patents and Trade Secrets Practice Center, scroll down to find Books and Treatises in the Legal Analysis box, and select Trade Secrets. On the Trade Secrets Treatises page, you'll find a link to the survey. You can search the book or select one or many jurisdictions to search. And if you click on a state name, you can open the book to discussion of that state's trade secrets laws. Another source that sometimes provides help, that sometimes proves helpful when looking for laws from many states, is the subject compilation of state laws available through Hein Online. You can search the database by titles or subjects, but for the most comprehensive results, use a keyword search. A word of warning, this system does not run automatic equivalents for plurals. You may instead want to browse the subjects list. Linking to the subject term trademark gets 134 results. These can be law review articles or books, or even a link to an online service. The compilation will tell you whether there are citations only, or if the work actually includes the referenced statutes. If the work is on Hein Online, there are links to the article itself and directly to the referred pages.